And is that your client, Mr. Huffman, appearing from the jail annex?
I believe so, Judge. Is
Mr.
that you,
Jackson,
Mr.
is
Jackson?
that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We are scheduled for pre-revocation hearings on each of these cases. One's an ag robbery, one's a possession case. Miss Carla, are you covering this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I show that he's under unable to locate. He was an absconder, is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, what is the recommendation and what did he complete on probation?
Your Honor, Mr. Jackson has two probation cases. Um, the one ending in 3602, which is the ag robbery, he was probated for 10 years. And the one ending in 2881, which is the possession of controlled substance, that one was a 2-year deferred probation. That term has expired. I wanted to update the court on that. That case expired on 2/4/21. However, we still have the ag robbery, which is with time since it was a 10-year deferred. There is a motion filed effective August 15, 2019. Mr. Jackson failed to report from May 2019 through October 2023. He has deaf counseling class outstanding, community service. October 28th, 2023, he's been in custody on the motions KPS, Your Honor. And in addition, he was also arrested on that same date for a DWI BAC greater over a 0.15. That is pending out of CCR 2 at this time. Last hearing held, Your Honor, was on November 28, 2023. Non-compliance was discussed and the case was to be reset for a 60-day pre-revo. And that's where we're at, Your Honor.
So it looks like the rec is 10 TDC on the ag robbery. I'm at 2 years on the state jail. I'm good with both of those. Mr. Huffman, what do you have?
Judge, we would hope the court might reconsider possibly giving Mr. Jackson's less amount of time, possibly letting him back out on probation. Judge, he's young. Okay, when he pled guilty and got put on probation, he had been in custody for about a year. He pled guilty. He got released, and he was not mentally ready for probation. But he stayed out of trouble for a long time, Judge. He started getting a lot better mentally. He started working. He was working most recently at a Valero. He had been there for about 8 months, and he even asked if he wanted to be a manager. Uh, Towards the very end, Judge, he was staying clean, and working. He was helping her mom. He lives with his mom at her house, and she has cirrhosis and diabetes. I was just on the phone with her, and she would love it if her son came back home. Um, yeah, we're obviously, Judge. He knows that he absconded for a long time. But I think at this point he's ready to do probation. I think he would be successful on probation. And Your Honor, we're hoping that he might be given another chance. This is a 3G offense, so 10 years. It's it's
This
it's just it's a
Mr.
long, long time.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, he absconded for years. And given what he pled to, he had the opportunity for deferred. He could have continued and done all of the probation terms, and then, walked away without a conviction. He chose not to do that. And in fact, picked up a DWI, in October 28th of 2023. So I don't, he had an open bottle of Dos Equis. He wasn't supposed to be drinking. He wasn't supposed to be, committing another crime while being out on probation. So while, I understand this individual has family, I don't think he was taking care of his family when he was out drinking and driving as recently as October. And given how serious the case, does involve a deadly weapon, this ag robbery, and given the seriousness of that, then the state believes 10 TDCs in appropriate number.
I'm there, Mr. Huffman. I'm looking at his prior history. He's had nothing but probation violations, drug, curfew, escape. I think that was dismissed. The drug case I think we have here. There was a PR revel there. Then we get our aggravated, I'm sorry, that was a different one. No, it's the same one. Picks up the ag robbery and another drug case while mine is outstanding. And then he does 80 days ACOP after his plea and never shows up. And then he picks up a DWI over 0.15. So, no. I'm at time. So, you know, I don't know what else you want on there. I mean, we're at pre-revel.
Yeah, no, I understand time is what the court is wanting. Could we do something less than 10 though? 10's on a 3G is a lot, Judge. It's a lot of time. And he's gonna end up having to do most of that time.
Well, that's not anything new. That is something that, you know, he was advised when he pled. And Mr. Jackson's, when you plead to a first degree and you're on deferred, I get the whole range of punishment. That's 5 to 99 years or life, right? And you blew probation off. And I don't want you to answer anything that I'm telling you because your attorney might not like that. But that's what happened. And so I'm not going to give you the minimum. That's 5 years, not going to happen. You picked up a new offense, pending, and you just didn't do anything on probation. So it's, you know, we could probably do eight on the ag robbery and 2 years on, but 2 years on the state jail, Mr. Huffman. You know, and we need to move this along. He either decides he's good with that, want to have a contested, figure out maybe you can do something with that DWI. I don't know what the circumstances are there, but this is not someone that is going to continue on probation with me.
I don't know. I guess I need to look into the underlying facts of the aggravated assault. I don't think it's as egregious as a 10-year sentence, Judge. So I'm going to try to.
What is it? What is it, Ms. Ortega?
So, Your Honor, if we can discuss this at the next hearing, if that's appropriate. We had some witnesses that had identified him through him selling, I guess, some sort of drugs to them at that time. And so the state, or I'm sorry, the officers collected a gun with 5 rounds. And he had identified these people had identified him as the person who was selling these drugs.
On the ag robbery, though?
That's what I'm showing. So under the evidence listed, the gun was placed into evidence along with the 5 rounds. So this is a case that Mr. Vandenberg was working. So that's all the information I have at this time. But there were some individuals that had identified him. He had a gun, and they were, you know, he was selling drugs.
Okay, Judge. There might be I'm gonna have to talk to Renee, my supervisor. There might be a conflict of interest. We didn't represent the complaining witness. We represented potentially the person whose gun it was. Is what I'm looking at.
One of the witnesses in this case, right?
Yes. So I need to.
All right.
But Your Honor, yes. I'm sorry, only to add that he did give a confession to the police. That's in the file, dated July 6, 2018.
Okay. So, Mr. Huffman, you need to figure out your conflict issue and let us know as soon as possible. Based on that, I'm only going to reset it for a pre-revo again in 30 days. I'm also looking here at the DWI arrest. October
But
28th.
I don't know if it's necessarily a co-defendant or a conflict, Judge.
I'm not
Maybe,
at, all I'm saying is I'm not going to set it for a contested rebel while that is
yeah.
outstanding. And I'm not seeing anything on the ag robbery. I am seeing this DWI, allegedly a .18, a .196 open alcohol container. Yeah. So we're
But
set
I
for
think
30
that's
days.
the basis. I think that is the basis why my office withdrew in 2018. But
Okay.
but that's kind of not the issue here. He pled guilty. But I do want to kind of reach out. Well, it might become a conflict because I might need to kind of develop the facts from the underlying
That's
offense.
why, Mr. Huffman, that's why we're resetting for 30 days.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, Judge.
All right. If you find out you need to withdraw, please just send us your motion quickly so I can get someone else on this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Who's next?